Well, it's early November. We're way past peak on fall color. It ended up being very good this year. Back in August and early September, I thought it was going to be a good season. We were cooling off nicely, sunny days. It wasn't too dry. But then we got warm again for a couple of weeks in late September, first part of October, and that delayed color by about a week or so. But it ended up being really good. Because some years better than others, but this was a good year. But again, we're well past peak now, but here's a little bit of fall color left. This is one of our fairly common understory shrubs at the clearing. This is maple leaf viburnum. And I suspect a lot of people who see it just assume it's a young maple tree, but it's not even related to maple. Several different viburnums have maple-shaped leaves. But this color is late, this nice kind of pinky color. A tall one is maybe 5 feet. It's a low, again, understory shrub. And it gets a little fruit cluster. There's one around here somewhere. We'll show you a picture later. A little cluster of shiny, almost black fruits. It's actually a fleshy fruit with a single large seed inside. And botanically, those kind of fruits are called drupes, D-R-U-P-E, drupe. Not a true berry, but we collectively call anything small and fleshy a berry. But they're very attractive. They last well into winter before the birds finally take them. But and nice clusters of yellow, of small white flowers in the spring, late spring. Well, here's a cluster of fruit right here. So, but really comes into its own in late fall, colors very late, when it's in this full pink fall color, maple leaf viburnum. Just down the trail, a few feet from the maple leaf viburnum, is a nice little cluster of snowberry. I might have showed you snowberry last month, but I just happened to see this here. This is typical height out in the woods, couple feet at the most. And you can see why it's called snowberry, with that pure white. I think this is a true berry with multiple small seeds inside. And like maple leaf viburnum, that fruit can stay on for quite a while into winter. The birds don't take it till later. Birds are smart. They know what's most nutritious, and they eat that first, like dogwoods, for instance. So, but these will eventually be taken by songbirds or maybe squirrels. But they'll last well into winter. Fall color on snowberry, there really is none to speak of. The leaves fall green. So snowberry just right near that patch of maple leaf viburnum. This is American beech. We sometimes neglect brown regarding fall color, but it's a color too. A family of pigments called tannins are responsible for the brown you see on beech and oaks. And the nice thing about beech, and oaks do this too, but beech, it's really pronounced in Door County because we have so many beech, is a way that they will, especially on younger trees and at the center and lower part of even mature beech, they'll hold their withered, dried leaves all winter long. That condition is called marcescence. So you see it in beech, oaks. Ironwoods do it too, and they're in a different family of plants. They're related to birch. But you see it on ironwoods too. But it adds a lot of character and movement and even some rattling, some noise in the winter landscape. It adds a lot of character in Door County's winter landscape. And these will fall off sometime in early spring instead of now like other deciduous trees do. So American beech and its marcescent leaves. We're right outside rooms 3 and 4 of the East Dorm. And here's a red twig or red osier dogwood. still in some nice fall color. All dogwoods get nice fall color, but this is the one that on the younger stems, you got these red stems, red bark, and that brightens in the winter. It's a very common landscape plant because of how great it looks in the winter. But here it is at the end of its fall color with that nice kind of maroon red on red osier or red twig dogwood. Well, I wanted to show witch hazel, and I have some. This is my house, so I have a couple in full bloom here. And here it is, not particularly showy, but very interesting. If you get up close, they have a kind of an herbal odor, but it's the latest blooming woody plant in Wisconsin, sometimes blooming still at Thanksgiving. Fall color is a nice yellow too, but pretty, it's outstanding up close in bloom. The word witch in witch hazel, it does not come from a witch. It comes from an ancient word for water. And this is a preferred stick or branch, fork stick, to use for dowsing or water witching to find water in the ground. So there was a use, and this is also they harvest the twigs. I don't think it's the leaves, I think it's just the twigs and branches, and they distill witch hazel, which is used in different lotions and astringents. Traditionally, you can still buy it, but for a plant person like me, it's the ornamental value. It's got great form, like a small scale tree, large scale shrub. It's so interesting that it blooms this late, witch hazel. When it comes to yellow fall color, the most outstanding ones up here are paper birch, and of course the aspens, quaking aspen and big tooth aspen. These are paper birch that are probably about 25 years old. We let this patch of juniper grow up starting in 2000, and these birch came in and we let them go. The yellow that you see on birch and aspens and other trees that have yellow fall color, that pigment, that yellow pigment, the carotene and xanthophyll pigments, have been there. That color's been there all season since the leaves came out, but it was masked over by the chlorophyll, the green pigment. And when the chlorophyll breaks down, when it starts to get colder, it reveals the yellows and the oranges. The reds and the purples that you see on things like red oak and the dogwoods and red maple, sumacs, Virginia creeper, those pigments actually develop in the fall as sugars get trapped in the leaves and they combine with other chemicals. I call it through the magic of chemistry, those pigments are produced. So they weren't there all season like the yellow on birch were. But birch do color late, one of the later plants to develop their fall color. It's outstanding, and of course they're outstanding all winter long because of their white bark. Everybody loves paper birch. And here we are at the north end of the big meadow, the Homestead Meadow, with the paper birch.